Hello, I'm Wendy Wilson, and I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Realizing Potential. Today I have with me in the studio Monica Rockwell, and she is an advocate and the face of sickle cell in this community, and educating the constituents of Southwest Georgia about the disease and taking the preventative measures to live a healthy lifestyle despite. Miss Monica Rockwell, how are you today?
I'm good.
Good.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you again for your patience with me. Tell us a little bit, for those who are unfamiliar with sickle cell, the disease itself, how it is prevalent in certain communities and what it does to the whole being, if you will.
Sickle cell is an inherited blood disorder. When a patient goes into crisis, that means that there's not enough oxygen getting through the body, traveling through the body. And when there's not enough oxygen in the body, they go into crisis. And the goal is always to get that oxygen level back up. And with sickle cell, everybody have circles that are their red blood cells are in the shape of a circle. Mm-hmm. But when they go into crisis, it goes into the shape of a crescent moon. So, and that's how doctors can tell that this person has sickle cell or they're going into sickle cell crisis.
Okay. And it is common in certain races, is that correct?
It's prevalent in the African American community.
Okay.
Very prevalent.
Okay. What is the testing involved to, or does it usually occur when symptoms start happening, or is the healthcare profession more attuned to then assessing individuals with traits or markers in their family history?
Well, in times past, it used to be a test that they did all the time.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, the Black Panthers started years ago doing testing for sickle cell.
Interesting.
And as time went on, people stopped thinking about sickle cell and they stopped doing the testing. And there was a time before people got married, they did blood testing to know what the family history was. Yes. Or if they had two people had sickle cell, it's not recommended that two sickle cell patients have kids. So if both the husband and the wife have the trait, 9 times out of 10 the child is going to have the disease.
Mm-hmm. Interesting. You're right. They don't do blood tests anymore when you're getting, huge loss, because that would help people to make more informed decisions in terms of family decisions.
Yes.
Okay. Now tell us about how you became involved as it relates to sickle cell awareness. Is it a part of your family history? Give us some insight into that.
Yes. Recently, in 2013, I was diagnosed with sickle cell beta thalassemia, along with congestive heart failure. And once Dr. Neal found out that's what my health issue was, then we started looking back into family history. My mom got tested, she has the sickle cell trait, and my dad got tested, and he has sickle cell anemia. And as time passed, I found out I had aunts and uncles with the trait. So the question that's always in the back of my head is, did my grandmother have it or did my grandfather have it on my mother's side and my dad's side?
Interesting.
So that I don't think I'll ever get the answer to that, because both of my grandparents are deceased. Mm-hmm. So that's something I'm still trying to figure out.
Okay.
But knowing your health history is so important.
Absolutely.
Then I found out a cousin has alpha thalassemia, which is a form of sickle cell. Then heart disease. Heart disease is one of the complications of sickle cell. That's why now my focus is managing the complications of sickle cell.
Okay.
Because having sickle cell alone, other health issues come with it. And one of the biggest thing I focus on is massive bone loss, because that's something I experienced. I had a DEXA scan done back in 2016, and that's when they realized I had the bones of a 77-year-old.
Interesting.
So my doctor prescribe 1,200 milligrams of calcium with 800 milligrams of vitamin D.
Okay, to counter that or to
Right.
delay the progression of that.
Right. And organ damage. A lot of patients experience organ damage. I experience congestive heart failure, and some people have heart disease, they have liver disease, they have different things that just organ failure, liver failure, just
Right.
different things that are not functioning as they should.
We do a disservice to generations to come
Yes.
by not sharing that information. So again, had you known or your parents had known, perhaps they may have made a different decision. But if nothing else, just to be proactive. You can't help who you fall in love with. So there is that piece. But again, being informed helps people to make wiser decisions. Yeah.
That's true. And the thing that my primary care physician said that I love, he said it's more cost effective to prevent something than it is
Indeed,
to cure it.
to address it. Yeah.
So if you know that someone else has diabetes or have sickle cell or have some other health issues, they'll start noticing things early on.
Okay.
Or they'll monitor, especially if you visit your physician regularly and you know something about your body or your family's medical history,
Yes.
some stuff can be prevented, and sometimes it's just lifestyle change too.
Absolutely, absolutely. Going back to our conversation we were having before we started taping, the water piece, but well, I'm sure you'll be able to insert that in this. But let's discuss more about being aware. So this is Awareness Month. For those who either live with sickle cell or who have family who are challenged with that. I don't know if I want to use that word, but it is a part of their life.
Yes.
And so what does that entail? What do you specifically do as it relates to awareness in this community?
The biggest thing is education.
Okay.
First of all, know what your genotype is, whether you have sickle cell disease or the sickle cell trait. Some people that have the trait feel like, well, Monica, I have the trait, so I'm not affected by it as much as people with the disease. That is true, but what if you and another person with the trait get together, then you have a child with the disease, and then later on you're trying to figure this out as to why is my child crying, or why is my child hemoglobin is low, why my child's blood count is low, or you're trying to figure it out where you can kind of take preventive measures.
Right.
So that's why education again is important. Even if you have the trait, I still recommend that you kind of learn something about it. Because one sign that people don't talk about, sometimes a child with sickle cell is always fatigue. Especially if they're outside running and playing, and next thing you know, they've been playing for about 30 minutes, and next thing you know, you see your child go to their room and lay down.
Exhausted. Okay.
And they're exhausted, and you're thinking, oh, they must be pretending, or they just don't want to go to school. That's one of the signs of juvenile sickle cell. So there's a lot of kids that have it. And if your child is in and out of the hospital, then that's when I think that should be a test that's done. If your child blood count is low, or the hemoglobin is low, or they're extremely fatigued, if they're pale, or if their hands or different parts of the body is swelling.
Okay.
Because it's swelling for a reason, and sometimes when the body is swelling, that means fluids aren't being released from the body. So that could cause organ damage, that could cause other health issues.
Sure. One of the things that you've said but not directly said is certainly being an advocate for your own health, and
Yes.
yeah, we have to ask for things.
Yes.
I think we oftentimes just remain silent because we're concerned about cost, and I don't want to minimize that. If we're living in an area where a lot of people don't have access to health insurance.
That's true.
Or there's still a copay attached to it. So that is very real. But again, we only have, I'm reminded of interview that I heard a while ago when Warren Buffett said that someone gave him this advice when he was 21 years old, that you should liken your body to a very special gift. And if someone gave you your preferred glamorous or the ideal mode of transportation. So if it's a Rolls Royce, how would you treat that? Because you're only going to get one in that lifetime. And
That's true.
in your body, you need to treat it to whatever you would covet in terms of the ideal vehicle, if you will. And so that plays out. We just have to find a way, and then access those resources like yourself.
Yes.
Yeah. So what should we look forward to as it relates to education for this particular month?
There are so many organizations out there that's doing educational pieces on social media.
Okay.
Or you can subscribe to their newsletters, where every day they're doing a tip on sickle cell.
Okay.
And another thing, sometimes things that people take lightly, they shouldn't.
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest things that I noticed lately a lot is a lot of people say I have chest pain.
Hmm.
And their first thought is, maybe I just have gas.
Oh, wow.
It may not be that.
It may not be, yeah.
It could be a heart attack.
Absolutely. I immediately went there.
It could have been, it could be it could be pulmonary embolism. It could be so many things.
Right.
It could be acid reflux. You just feel like, well, I ate something that probably I didn't eat enough or something that gave me gas. That's something I would look into, and I would talk to my physician.
Excellent.
Even if you don't talk to a physician, at least a nurse practitioner, because if you don't have the funds for a physician, there's always the nurse practitioner that has the same access as a physician does, and they're more affordable.
Gotcha. Share with those who, again, may experience sickle cell in their life, directly or indirectly, as it relates to a friend or a family member. What is a healthy lifestyle? What do you do? Because I know you of course have shared that you have this. And
yes.
So what do you do in terms of trying to stay in tip-top shape? Dietary, physical activity?
Yes. The biggest thing I advocate is a hobby. Hobby is that avenue that you use to relieve stress.
Yes.
Stress is one of the biggest triggers in any health issue you have, whether it's sickle cell or not.
Yes.
You need that outlet that you go to, whether it's drawing, painting, reading, writing, watching certain movies, going to a comedy show. You have to find your hobby. My hobby is traveling. That's my biggest thing, and my youngest sister, hers is planning. You will not find me planning anything because that is not my hobby. And I have my oldest sister, she draws. She's an artist as well. So find your hobby. Having a hobby makes a difference. Mm-hmm. It makes a big difference because you're doing something that you love.
Okay.
And it'll take your mind off of whatever your situation is or whatever your health issue is. And then that's balance. A lot of people don't have a balanced life.
That's right.
Having a balanced life manages sickle cell. Mm. Have your friends. There are moments where you want to be with your friends, where you get to act your age with your friends and have fun and do things that you won't do with your family.
Right.
Because your family first response is, well, I want you to slow down. I want you to be okay. And when I'm spending time with my friends, we doing college stuff or we doing whatever activity, going to the movies, girls trip or whatever, and different conversations, you still want that balance. Mm-hmm. So it's like I do trips with family, then I do trips with friends.
Great.
And then I do trips myself, because sometimes you have to date yourself to know what you like and don't like.
That quiet time, just with yourself. Enjoy your own company. Yes, that's so important.
I did green vegetables, put oxygen back in the body.
Great.
High in folic acid.
Okay.
Potassium. You have bananas that are high in potatoes, just different things that are nutritional, that add nutritional value. And healthy eating, when you grow it and you know it's grown with love,
yes,
it makes a difference.
Yes. You reminded me of the comedian Tiffany Haddish. She talks about that. Yeah, that she has a really great garden at her home, and she talks to the vegetables and kind of communes with them, and thus, when they do reach their peak, that adds to the flavor and just again benefiting her overall health. And I'm sure that's a form back to the hobby piece.
Yes.
We've got to go back into, we talked about this is the work-life or the balance is key. Balance. We talked about the dietary. Let's add that piece about the water. I'm still blown away with that we do not have people drinking enough water.
A lot of people don't drink.
Yeah, and how that's so important, regardless of the fact that you may or may not have any health issues or challenges. Yeah, let's speak to that and how much we should have, and particularly those who encounter sickle cell,
Yes.
why that's key.
Also detoxes. A lot of people don't look at that.
Right.
Water detoxes the body,
Sure.
whether you want it to or not.
Okay.
Water, whether it's tap water or bottled water,
Yes.
it detoxes and it flushes the body. So, and I know when I drink sodas or used to or drink certain things, it's like I'm still dehydrated.
You are?
And then we've been in 101 weather. So
Oh
it's
my
like,
goodness,
how could you
yes.
pick up a soda versus water?
Absolutely.
Some people
Yeah.
I'll just pick up a soda, or I'll go to a restaurant and pick up a tea, or I'll go
Sweet
pick
tea.
sweet tea, or I'll
Yeah.
go pick up something else. And
Yeah.
I'm like, okay.
And we wonder why we have such a high incidence of diabetes in this
Yes.
community. Well, just a lot of health conditions, yeah. So we have to make some lifestyle changes, some
Yes.
intentional decisions to improve the quality of our health and add to the longevity of our health. It's just,
Yes.
it's critical. It is absolutely critical. Just like you need gas for your vehicle, you need the water.
Internally
That's
and
right.
externally.
That's right.
You base with it. Why not drink it? And that's one of my hobbies. Lake Loretta, I'll sit by a lake.
Great.
I love the sound of water. A fish tank, a fish bowl. I just love the sound of water.
Find what works for you. That's important. Before we wrap up, let's share with our viewers, are there some activities in the community that are going to be going on this month that they can attend to learn more and be educated about sickle cell?
Yes, there are 2 events.
Okay.
The first event is Let's Game Plan for Sickle Cell in Blakely, Georgia at the Blakely Civic Center. That's going to be September the 8th from 9 a.m. to 12 noon. I'll be providing information, and one of the highlights of the event is Global Partnership for Telehealth is going to be there. One of the vendors that's going to be there that I'm excited about is Genesic Nonprofit Organization. That's an organization that's building a sickle cell clinic here.
Oh.
So Miss Lewis, Alicia Lewis, is working on that, and she's having a 5K iron run September the 15th in downtown Albany, Georgia, at the riverfront.
Okay, so those that may be interested in that, is there a number that they can contact to register, or do they just show up that day?
For the Blakely event, you just show up.
Okay.
But for the iron run, that's at active.com.
Okay.
And you can register for the run there.
Gotcha, gotcha. You are so giving with information and the knowledge that you have acquired over the years and still acquiring, I know. Is there a point of contact that people can reach out to you, or do you have a web page or website?
My recommendation is my social media page.
Okay.
You'll reach me there quicker than a phone call.
Yes.
Because even with the cell phone, you get telemarketers.
That's true. That's true. You're not recognizing them. I understand that. So they can just go to, is there a preferred social media site, that platform that you use? I know you and I communicate a lot on Facebook, so.
Facebook,
Okay.
Instagram, and Twitter.
Okay.
And also you can subscribe to my YouTube channel. There's information
Oh,
there.
Outstanding.
Complications of sickle cell, I talk about that. What inspired SWGA sickle cell awareness, and then the different conferences I go to and get information.
Okay, outstanding.
So information that I might not have, there are other people in the community that do have it.
Right. Again, just always so, I applaud you directly to you, then from afar when we don't have an opportunity to always connect. Because your commitment is ongoing and it's very consistent. And many people live with diseases outside of sickle cell and keep that to themselves. They live that very privately. But you graciously share that with the world and use it as a platform to enlighten and to educate. We all want to live a quality life, and we don't know what we or may be stricken with or what may be around the corner from us. But you always have a very courageous and brave front as you just move through this life's journey. And so I applaud you for that, and thank you, more importantly.
Thank you. If I can help someone in this journey, that means the world to me.
Oh, wow. You're helping a lot. Thank you for using this platform to come and share. Thank you so much, Monica Rockwell.
Thank you.
Come back and keep us posted on the next activity that you have planned.
Will do.
Outstanding. Viewers, thank you so much for joining me for this edition of Realizing Potential. I'm Wendy Wilson, and I will see you next time.